Sadhguru, how do we create our destiny consciously, and how much control do we have over our lives?
See, the quality of your life is not determined by the type of house you're living in, the type of car you're driving, the sort of clothes that you wear, the sort of food that you eat, no. The quality of your life is essentially determined how you're experiencing life right now. Yes or no?
Yes.
Suppose you're in Australia 10,000 years ago, you would look very different. I think yesterday or day before was the 150th anniversary of first shipload of people going from England, was it so?
Yes, I think so, that's correct.
Yeah, I think I saw it on the news. Anyway, if you were there 10,000 years ago, you would be very different. You would be living somewhere in the open, under a tree or on a rock or whatever. Does it mean to say you would be miserable?
No.
No. Probably you were having a grand life, as long as you're well-nourished. Maybe you had a grand life crawling under a rock and living there. No home, no this kind of clothing, no this kind of fancy food, no all this social media, no talking to Sadhguru across the continents, nothing, but you were doing great. So only now your misery comes from comparing yourself how everybody else is. But on that day, if you had a little better rock than the other person, you were fine, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'm saying human life or the quality of human life is not determined by what we have. What we have is a consequence of the times in which we exist. What we have is not the determining factor for who we are and how we experience this life. How you experience your life, you can determine 100%. What is around you is not yours because it's a consequence of time, isn't it? Where you are today in 21st century is not your making. It has happened because of whole society or the world or humanity moving in a certain direction. So, what you have is a consequence of the times in which you exist. How you experience is 100% yours. When you say destiny, people are thinking if I go to moon, oh, that was my destiny. No, even you can go to moon and be miserable. Hello? They didn't look very joyful, the guys who landed there. With all due respect to them, they did something fantastic, but still, I'm saying people who are living in palaces are not looking blissed out. People who have earned billions of dollars, they're not looking blissed out. So what I'm saying is, your destiny is to determine the quality of your life. That is 100% in your hands. This is what the whole movement, inner engineering movement is all about, that you determine the quality of your life by determining the quality of your experience. Once the quality of your experience is set, wherever you are, you will do your best and you're fine. If you were here 10,000 years ago, you would be in the same level of experience. Today with all the facility, you will be in the same level of experience.
So do you think anything in life then is fated?
I'm sorry?
Do you think anything in life then is fated?
Well, you've been traveling to India, I think.
Yeah, I actually have. I love India.
You should come, Sarah, sometime you must come to South India.
I will.
We are in a very beautiful place.
Oh, where I'm staring at you and it just feels magical, so if I can feel that over Zoom, I can only imagine what it's like to be there.
So, is there something called fate? Is there something that is predetermined? That's your question.
Yes, yes.
There's one thing that is predetermined, that everything that's born will die. But how you experience life is entirely in your hands. Nobody can determine that, especially nobody can predetermine that. It is very much possible that no matter where you're born, in what kind of conditions you're born, you can still make your life beautiful by experiencing it in a beautiful way. When I say beautiful, right now in 21st century people may have this, if my life has to be beautiful, my home should be like this, my car should be like this, I must have free Wi-Fi, you know.
That's important.
Lot of young people are refusing to go to heaven because they said there's no Wi-Fi there. So, these things are consequential situations. These things don't determine your experience. If you allow them to determine your experience, that means you have become a slave of the situations in which you exist. That means somewhere in the evolutionary process of becoming human, you have gone backwards, because all other creatures are made like this. Their life is determined by the situations in which they exist. Our life is made by the way we conduct ourselves, not necessarily by the situations in which we exist. I think that 150 years ago, that first shipload of people, when they were dropped off on this island called Australia today, I'm sure they must have felt so miserable. They've been dropped off in such a faraway island and this is the end of their life. But today you're very happy being in Australia, it's just the times, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe there were some adventurous people in that ship who thought, this is great, at least no loss, no problems, I can live the way I want. We don't know what they did, I'm just using that as an example. With all due respect to all the Australian people, I very much enjoyed your country during my travels. I drove across Australia and I've spent some time there and it's been wonderful. So, what I'm saying is, we are misunderstanding external circumstances and inner possibilities. External circumstances, we want them pleasant. It is true. That will take some effort, that will take some cooperation from everybody around us because there are many forces involved. But to make our body pleasant, mind pleasant, emotions pleasant and our energies pleasant, this is entirely 100% our business. But we are expecting somebody else to make our mind and emotion pleasant. Well, slavery has begun. No way. If somebody can decide what should happen within you, you're deeply, deeply enslaved, isn't it? Worst kind of slavery.